Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. So today is the day we make our ultra pure copper woven set of interconnects. So you can see I've made one side up already, and I'm going to be showing you how to make the other side up, which is exactly the same, and then we're going to terminate them with these beautiful Viborg RCA plugs. So what do we need for this job? We need obviously our copper material, which is going to be polished. We need our Teflon tubing, which is 0.5 and the outer is 1 mil. And then we need some silicone tubing, which is on the in the inside it's 1 mil, and on the outside it's 2 mil. And then we need some braid for the outside to finish the job off nicely, which this is an anti-vibration braid I'm using on these. We need some heat shrink, we need some solder, we need some flux, we need our soldering iron, we need a pair of snippers there, and I think that's it. Some tin tipper, tip tinner I should say. So brilliant. So let's get cracking on this job, and I'll show you how to make these. So I've cut both of the silicone tube and the ptfe tube here, which is Teflon, but in able to get this through there, it has friction as it goes along, so we're going to have to use a bit of WD-40 here to spray down the tube, okay, to start with. That goes everywhere a bit, so you need to squirt some in and then wipe the end of it so you've got nothing on there, and then blow down the tube so it all comes out at the end. You can see it here, you'll see it here dripping. Right, just need a bit more down there. And that will go all over the place a bit, so you'll be better off doing it in an area where it's not going to get splashed over anything. So we just want to blow down there again. There we go. It's coming out the other end now there, as you can see it. Right, so we've got the WD-40 down the tube. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to cover this wire here in some silicone lubricant. Okay, so this is a silicone lubricant there, and what we're going to do is just going to spray this all over the cable down there, and then I'll show you how to start threading it through. So I've covered it in silicone lubricant as well now. So we're just going to push that through like so, and just keep threading it through until we get to the bottom. So we've now threaded that through. I've already done the other three, so they're all ready to go. And I've already polished the conductors of the other three, so I'm going to show you how to polish the conductor now, which is copper, 0.4 mil copper. So this is Brasso, you'll all be familiar with this, okay, and we want to put our Brasso onto here, and then we're going to get our copper wire here, which is here, and we're going to just wrap the Brasso on the cloth around it and just polish up and down. Spend a little bit of time on it, just keep going up, and then you can just pull it through like that, keep pulling it through, and then you can go back the other way again. Give it a minute or so of polishing, just backwards and forwards, and then we'll buff it up with a piece of cloth at the end. There we go. That should do it. Right, now we'll get a bit of dry cloth here, and we'll just buff that up because we want to make it nice and shiny, and we want to get off the brass, so we don't want to leave that on the surface of it. Okay, now when you're doing this work, you're best to use a pair of gloves, some surgical gloves really, when you're touching copper, because it basically it oxidizes very easy. But I've washed my fingers and my hands in meths to kill any grease that's on my hands at the moment. So there we go, that's like that. This is like this. Right, okay, so that's nicely done now. So I'm now putting some deoxit on here, and I'm going to run the cable, the wire I should say, not the cable, the wire through the deoxit. Now what you want to do is you don't want to kink this wire at all. You want it to be lovely and smooth. So you've still got some brasso coming off onto there. There we go. So now we've treated it in the deoxit. Now we're going to take our tube, okay, and we're going to threadle the wire through the centre of insulation, which is the Teflon. I'm just going to threadle that right the way through till we get to the end. Now try not to kink anything, because it'll you don't want any kinks in the wire, any bends. Now again, this takes time. Just take your time on it, don't rush it. Push it through. Right, and if necessarily, you have to do it upright like that, and go down with it, like so. Okay, to get it all through nice and neat. It'll go through. If you have the wire kinked too much, the insulation, you'll find it won't thread all through as well. There we go, we've come in towards the end here, and I'm just going to turn this over and make sure it's threadled through the other end, and there we go, we've got it threadled through both ends now there. See that? Right, I'm going to do the rest to the other 3 and I'll be back shortly. So we've now got our 4 conductors, and I've bunched them together and put some ptfe tape around them, because we want to now start doing the plaiting. So let's crack on, I'll show you how to do that. So we want to start plaiting, so we need to cross one conductor over another, okay, that way, from the left and right, like so. Okay, it gets a bit complicated at first because the wires are quite long. Then we want to go back over again, from back to front. Okay, you've got that there. It's very difficult to start with this, so you've got to be really patient. Then we go straight back over that way again, and then cross it this way again, and then straight back over that way again, and back over this way. So it's a 4-way plait basically. I'll show you a little bit more of it so we can get it to show you what it looks like. Okay, nearly there. Okay, and back over this way again. Now you can roll this up, these individual strands, so they're easier to work with. Right, I'll show you it. I'll just do this bit here, and I'll show you it so far. Then I shall crack on and do the rest of it. So there you can see, look, it's plaiting lovely. It's a nice plait there. So I shall crack on and do the whole thing, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like after. it's time consuming this. You have to just take your time and be patient with it. Just keep working around it. It'll probably take you around about an hour to plait one channel. There we go. Go in there slowly. Right, I'll show you how far I've got so far now, and then I shall just crack on till the end. There we go, look. It's going nicely there. There's lots of it. So I've now finished weaving both cables now. So I'm now going to cut them to length. So I'm going to cut these two cables now. So I've got them side by side, and I want to mark both sides there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same to the other end, because I want to make sure these are perfectly the same length. Now the plait, because I've plaited them, I've got the plait extremely tight, so they should be identical. As we come up to here, I've wrapped a piece of tape round each one there. Okay, so we know, and then we're going to just mark on here again, across here, and then we're going to cut those now with these snips. Okay, so we'll start off there. Right, that's that one, and that's that one. You've always got to make these bigger, and you need to trim them back, because it's so much better. You can get the right length you want, and you haven't got to mess about too much. Now this set, I've got a new company that I'm using for the cryogenic treatment now, and this set are going off next week with the boards to the quad, well, to the Lucid 405. The two boards that go into the side are going to be deep cryogenically treated as well. So we've got that to there now, and what we want to do is we want to pull these back. Okay, now we're going to separate all of the conductors, and what we've got to do with that is we're going to have to test with a multimeter what conductor is what. So we want to join two of them up together. So we're just going to get this knife here just to trim off the first material there, so we reveal the second there. Do that again there. Okay, that one's off. Same with these ones, and then we'll do the same at the other end. I don't push through the other. No, that one's come off actually. That's gone straight through. But try not to do that, because you don't want to damage the conductor too much. Just take that one off, and then we can then take these off with the wire strippers. So I've done that end. I'm going to get on with the other end, and I'll be back and show you what it is once I've done them. So I'm going to very gently just score the ptfe tape there, the ptfe tube. I don't want to go through the tube. I just want to and then we want to be able to just pull this back. You don't want to mark the conductor. There we go. Right. So what we need to do now is we've got to get our multimeter here. Okay, which we set to ohms, and we're going to connect the multimeter to one conductor on one end, and then we're going to try it on all the conductors at the other end and find out what strand is what. So first of all, I want to put a black mark on one of these strands, so I know, and then when I get down to the other end, Right, so let's put this, if I can get that up on its end. I don't know whether that's working anymore or not. Nope, you'll have to try to see if I can get it on an angle there for you to see that. There we go, look. So we're going to hold our probe onto this, onto the one that I've put the black on, and then I'm going to go around the other probes and see. So that's the one there, the first one I've come to is the correct. If I go to the other ones, there's nothing. That one there, there's nothing, and that one there, there's nothing. So it's that one there. Right, okay, so now I need to just mark this one here, because that is the one. So we know that's the one. Let's double check it now. Very difficult filming these videos on your own and getting it decent. Right, so I'm going to hold that onto there and hold that one onto there, and that's the one. Go round to those ones. They're not the ones. Got to make sure I ain't touching any other conductors here. Put that one on there. Let's go around those ones. Nothing. Nothing. Right. What's going on there? Let's try that one there. You've got to be so careful you don't touch any of the other conductors while you're doing it. Right, that is the one. Right, okay. So now we need to then put another black mark, say onto this one here. And now we've got to do the same thing. Go round testing and find out what is the right conductor for that one now. And then we want to, so let's just try that. It looks like the first one there again. I've been very lucky with some of these. Right, okay, so that's the one as well. So I shall mark that off and then we'll get that done. So we've now worked out what conductors are what. So we're joining two up on both ends. So now we want to just put we want to tin these up. Just put a bit of flux on these. And we're just going to tin these up now. So then we can then slide our external braid over it. It's nicely done there. I always blow the fumes away when I'm doing this. Right, that's that one. So we're now going to threadle the cable through the nice braid. Now this braid is a totally different ball game to the nylon braid. It's it damps the jacket as well. It's really good stuff actually, and because I've paid a lot of attention to the damping on this cable with this silicone jacket, I've aided it further with this braid. It's got like, it almost feels fabric like. So we're going to push that through there, push that up, and I've cut some pieces of heat shrink. this braid, it gives it a really high-end look to it. Not that it's about looks, but it really does. It really makes it so much better than the normal nylon stuff, which I usually use. And this isn't very expensive either. I got this from Hi-Fi Collective. I popped over there today and picked up all these bits that I needed, because I thought about time I got on with this video and got it done. Some of these videos just drag out. So we're coming up to that. It does feel like there's a bit of nylon in this as well, but it's slightly different to the normal nylon braid. Okay, so we need to come up a bit more there and just bring it down a bit, because we've got to fit our heat shrink on. We want to make sure that we get them both up to about the same there. You see that there? And now I'm going to pop over a piece of heat shrink to this. There we go. Can pop that over there. Make sure we chuck all of these bits in round here. Okay, now I want to just remove all this from there. Now we want to take this heat shrink up to about there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink it down first with the heat gun here. But I don't want to burn the braid. So what I do now is to fit some... I'm sure other people have got other ways of doing this, but this is the way I prefer to do it. Just to put a bit of ptfe tape around that. It just stops it from burning when you get close. That's that. Now we can turn our attention to the other end as well. And this time, to hold this in place, I'm just going to push a bit of ptfe tape around here as well and pull it nice and tight. Wrap it round there. Get it nice and tight on there. It just helps now for the braid, the heat shrink, just to pop over the end there. I've got the heat shrink here. Put the end open and start, then you can squeeze it like that so we can get it. Put the conductors in there, pop that over there like so. Take it up to about there. And we'll do the same first on here, just to set that down. Now we're going to wrap some ptfe tape around it again, just around that bit. So these cables, they're not quick to make. It's time consuming, but this will be a super high end copper set of interconnects once they're done. You'd have to spend quite a lot of money to get a better pair than this. Plus they're going to have the deep cryogenic treatment as well, and it's going to improve them even better. Right, so let's just now peel that one off now as well. Get all that off of there. Right, and I'll show you the two side by side now. So here we have the two cables there now. So all we've got to do now is terminate them, which is going to be quite nice. We'll crack on and do that now. Now, first of all, what we've got is a little Allen key here with these. We're just going to undo that little Allen key screw there. Get that in there. Pull that. I'm just going to take that out totally at the moment. Put it in there. Now, this is still quite tight. That is, it's still. I mean, these cables, they get quite thick when they get down to this size. So now we're going to have to squeeze it. We want to squeeze it to get it in there. Now you might want to put some WD-40 over it or something just to get it in first, because it'll make it easier to slide. So I'll put a bit on the end of the in the barrel here, just to make it slide on easy. You can use a bit of D5 Deoxit as well, but I had that to hand, and it will just help it slide over and up the cable there. You can also use some bigger entry plugs like the WBT ones, which have got a really big entry. Right, so there we go. We're going to push that up to there like that. Okay, we're getting that in there, and now that should be all ready to start soldering off our pins now. So we're going to use the black ones as the earths. So what we'll be doing is connecting these two through there like that, and then this one through down here. Okay, so we can then pull that back there. I don't know if you can see that there. Nope, it's out of position. So let's move this up. Okay, so we're just going to stick a bit of solder onto that piece there. Bring that back there so you can see it a bit more. Actually, let's move this camera angle a bit, because that's better. There we go. Look at that. That's better. So we're just going to put a bit of flux on the end of that. We're going to clean the end of the soldering iron, and now we just want to bit more. That's it. That's gone on beautiful. Look at that, nicely done there. And so now we've got to turn this round. We want to go to our center pin there, so we want to put that into the center pin. Right, okay, bearing in mind you don't want any of these conductors touching on the inside. So what I'll do is also, we need, before we do that center pin, we need to just put another piece of, move this about a bit. It gets a bit difficult. We want to put another piece of solder just onto that pin there, which we're doing now. Let's load the soldering iron up first. That's it. Gone in there, lovely. Right, so now let's move to this center conductor. So we want to push that right up inside that barrel. We can see that there, because we've got the other wire going across underneath it. Right, let's just make sure that we can get that into place there. So I was using my trusty tuner before I restored it for soldering plugs in, and now I haven't got it. So I've got to come up with another device, which I should be able to do, no problem. But for now, I'll be doing it like this, just to show you this one there. So let's get that into there. And now we'll solder this in. Right, that's done it. That's perfect. Right, so let's just double check everything there before we start pulling this back up again now. So we've got to try to gradually move this up. There we go, we've got that up to there. Go a bit more and then start screwing that up. Now don't move the actual end piece here, just screw the barrel round like that by holding the end piece, the actual plug part, in one place, because you don't want to be twisting the conductors round in the inside there. Because you'll find you'll mess it up once you've done that. Right, there we go. So now what we wanted to do is to put that little screw back in here now. Now, because of the way that this heat shrink has now got a slightly damaged, I'll show you it. The heat shrink now has got slightly damaged around there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut some other heat shrink, and we'll put it up to the end, and we'll go over the end here to make it neater once we've done it. Just like that. Sorry, the camera works very poor today. So I'm back. This is the next day now. Run out of time to finish them, and what I've worked out is I had to remove the heat shrink that I put on there because it was too thick to get the RCA plug into it. So what I've done is I slimmed it down. I moved the braid back very slightly, and it just made it so much easier. Alternatively, if you're going to decide to build this set of cables, what I'd suggest is you get an RCA plug that accepts a 10mm wire or cord cable, because these are only accept 8mm, and unfortunately by the time you've woven all this together it gets too big. It's all about the learning curve. Everything you make, you learn every day. So what we're going to do is put this on the tripod now, and we're going to just slip our heat shrink over and shrink it down. So I've decided to shoot the heat shrink over the plug a bit to give it some nice Right, there we go. That's done. So what I'm going to do is crack on with the other ones, and I'll be back and I'll show you them finished. I've now finished them. They've come up extremely well. So let's have a recap on how I built these. So first of all, we have 4 conductors, which are pure copper, 0.4mm. So we have 2 to the ground and 2 to the center pin, which is the signal. And they are insulated in a it's a 1mm, and the internal size is a 0.5 Teflon tube, and then the Teflon tube is then put through a silicone tube, and then they are weaved, or I should say plaited, in a 4-way plait, And then we're using this really nice braid on the outside, which is a dampened braid as well. And I'm using these plugs, which you saw at the beginning. The only thing I would say, if I was building these again, I would use some RCA plugs that take a 10mm cable, because it was a bit of a struggle with these, which were, they only take an 8mm. So, but I'm going to wire these up now. I'm going to have a good listen to them, and then these are going to be deep cryogenically treated. So I think that's it. I hope you like the build. It's never easy doing these videos, as I always say. Filming things on your own on a tripod and trying to get, and then you're out of focus a bit, and then you move out the camera angle, and but you can get the gist of how you build them. So if anybody wants any information, don't forget to leave some comments in the comments section. So I think that's it now. So thanks for watching another Tweaker Man video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a like. Don't forget to press that notification bell so you're notified each time I upload a new video. And thank you for watching, guys.